President Buhari has flagged off the business and market week with these statements at the beginning of a two-day National Economic Council retreat, the first of such meeting in the new year 2016, also coming towards the end of the first quarter. All eyes on what the president says and what the conclusion would be in the next 48 hours, when we expect a formal communique to be presented by the vice president, who is the head of the National Economic Council. This two-day meeting is very, very crucial. The president spoke about the need to get agriculture, power, manufacturing, and housing sector up and running. Those sectors the president believes will be the key to generate jobs and get the economy away from oil, or crude oil to be more precise. The president also asked all state ministries of agriculture to work with the Federal Ministry of Agri to convene a stakeholders meeting to everybody to be on the same page to get agriculture up and running. Some of the things the president said earlier today in his statement to 36 state governors, the ministers of the National Planning and Budget, as well as the Minister of Finance and the Central Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele, who will be stepping out of that meeting to attend the Monetary Policy Committee meeting today, starting right now as well. So a very busy day in Abuja at that side from the executive and the legislature. The National Assembly will start this week to put final touch to the 2016 budget. The deadline was last week. It was moved to this week. Now we're asking whether the National Assembly will deliver on ratifying all the key numbers in the appropriations and forward the concluded documents to President Muhammadu Buhari before the end of the week for the president to assent and pass this as the economy waits for this very crucial decision. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Statistics, called the NBS, will today release the unemployment figures for 2015 fourth quarter. Dr. Yemi Kale's office is expected to get those numbers out. If you add that to the Nigeria's trade balance or merchandise data that was released last week, we expect a raft of these numbers from 2015, looking back figures to come out from the statistics office this week. That is also something for you to digest. But let's bring in Gabriel Idahosa, who is an economist and policy analyst, to give us his thoughts on the state of the economy and what he thinks should be the way forward. Good morning. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time. Right now, let's start from President Buhari's National Economic Council meeting. What do you think should be the key focus of this two-day economic retreat?
I think the objectives are clear, they are well known. There's nothing really new that we are expected. Is the articulation of the issues, diversification, agriculture, manufacturing. What we have seen are statement of intentions since the government came in. We will diversify, we will promote local production, we will get the refineries working, we create jobs. What we have not seen are specific action steps on each of those things. To say,
give us an example.
For example, if we can become self-sufficient in rice, just take rice alone. If we can become self-sufficient in rice, that will take millions of dollars off our foreign currency bill. So if you had an action step program from May last year that says step by step, month to month, between month 1 and month 18, starting from May last year, this is what we are doing to become self-sufficient in rice. You have the same program on sugar. You have the same program on refineries. That we are going to have 5 or 6 or 7 small modular refineries built in the next 15 months. If you have those specific programs way back in June, when the government came in, at this time, you will be able to measure where we have been.
Don't you think that the president has had a very tough time managing the transition from a political point of view, create some sense of movement via his anti-corruption and civil service reforms in which thousands and thousands of ghost workers have been identified, the efficiency unit is kicking in, the president is rattling the NNPC, which is the goose that laid the golden egg. Don't you think now there's a time for this economic council to meet and perhaps the president has something to put on the table and something for them to work on?
Yes, it's never too late to do what is being done now, but you could have done all these things simultaneously. You were fighting Boko Haram, you started from day one, you got the people moved to the theater of battle, and we saw action. You could have done exactly the same thing with the economy. You could have said from day one, this is what we need to do on rice, this is what we need to do on sugar, this is what we need to do on vegetable oil, on petroleum. I have a new minister who is going to turn around the place, and the minister has 2 months, 3 months to come up with clear directions. This minister has tried to set a game plan, which we are seeing. So the things are being done. The only thing you expect to change is a much faster process. You need to see, because 4 years is not a long time. 1 year is almost gone out of 4 years. So you need to have
another 90 days,
process.
thereabouts,
Yes.
365 days will be over.
Yes.
In terms of deliverables, what are your expectations at the end of this meeting tomorrow for this NEC meeting? What do you expect in terms of specifics?
Specifics, we want to see an action plan that says all the states, all the local governments in Nigeria will do these specific actions in order to get us to rise self-sufficiency at so month. This is the plan to have X number of modular refineries that can be built within 12 and 18 months to get us out of importing. So those are the
also
specifics.
you're looking for an economic calendar.
Yes,
sort of.
absolutely.
You want the office of the president or the vice president tomorrow to deliver an economic calendar.
We do not want statement of intentions. Statement of intentions. We will diversify the economy. We will stop importation of refineries. We will improve agriculture. We will create jobs. These are good statements of intentions. But
so you're looking for an economic calendar. We have a lot to talk about. Let's move on to the theater of the National Assembly. Do you think the National Assembly will deliver on the promise as far as the budget is concerned this week?
Well, they didn't deliver on the first one. So your history tells us what you can do. So let's see if they can defy their history and deliver this time. I don't have any reason to believe that, they will not do it. But if history tells us what has happened in the past, then nobody should be surprised if they don't do it.
Are you concerned, reading in the media, in the news every day, about discovery of some padding, quote unquote, of figures? It looks like that budget is filled with landmines. And as soon as you pop up one, another one pops up. So, do you think that document lacks integrity, and the National Assembly would have to ensure, as they put it last week, the spokesman for the Senate says, look, we need to ensure the integrity of the document we're sending back to the chief executive?
Yes, they need to do that. That's why they are elected. That's the only reason they are elected. The only concern that everybody has is the time it is taking. That is their job. But the time it is taking, 9 months down the road, the government is in office.